Welcome to Good Questions. Today is Psalm chapter 14, King James Version. The fool hath said in his heart, There is no God. They are corrupt, they have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Pause. As a religiously minded person, I have been told that the word fool is basically a curse word, so it's uncomfortable saying it out loud when reading the Psalms here. Is this an appropriate use of the word? What does it indicate? What is a fool? What does he do? What does he think or say? Um, if God is invisible, how is it fair to call someone a fool who doesn't believe in God? If God cannot be sensed with the traditional senses, with which sixth sense or logic or reasoning do we use to justify God's existence? Um, why is the fool used in the English in the singular, and yet in the second sentence it's a plural? They are corrupt. They are. What does it mean for them to become corrupt? Does that affect the way they think, the way they believe? What have they done? Did they act wrongly first and it changed their understanding and beliefs? What abominable works? What's the difference between something that's wrong and something that's abominable? And when the author says there is none that doeth good, is he speaking of all people, or is he speaking only of the group that he considers to be fools? Verse 2. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. Pause. When did the Lord look down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God? What is it that they were to understand? That God was real or something else? What is the significance of seeking God? Is this a game of hide and seek? Is this a reverse psychology? Is this a child's game? What does it display in our character for us to seek God? Can we ever find God in this world? Verse 3. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. Pause. Now, in verse 1, it's speaking of the fool, or the type of person that is a fool. And in verse 3, it says, all have gone astray or gone aside. They have altogether become filthy. There's none that doeth good, no, not one. So, what's the connection there? Are all people fools at some point or another in their lives? Do all not understand at one point or another? Have all become filthy in God's eyes at one point or another? And how is there redemption in that? What is the path of redemption? Or is this a different explanation? Are some people just fools? And when God looks down upon the children of men, is there a distinction? Is there another group that is not fools? Are they not called children of men? Are they called children of God? And how does one become, or is one only born a child of God? Verse 4. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Lord? Pause. What does it mean to call upon the Lord? How does one know that one is calling upon the Lord? What does this figure of speech mean when they say they eat up my people as they eat bread? Is this literal? Are these cannibals? Or is this something else? Is it financial plunder? Who are the workers of iniquity? And are they different from the people of the author, my people? Or is the author speaking as God and my people are God's people? Who are God's people? How do they know they are God's people? What knowledge do they have that the workers of iniquity have not? How does one become a part of the people of God? Verse 5. There were they in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. Pause. Is this about a time stamp or a stamp of certain generations that some are more foolish or more wise or more righteous than others? When were they in great fear? What was the situation? Is fear of God or fear of something else a necessary step in becoming part of the people of God or the generation of God? Is this why fear is acceptable in the world? Does it transform people, cause them to be more curious, more wise, to seek God? Verse 6. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Pause. In the world's eyes, it is very clear that the poor are relegated to being called unwise or incompetent or foolish. Does God have a different view of the poor? Does God love the poor? Does God prefer the poor? Is it better to be poor? How poor is poor? When the author says, ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, of whom or to whom is he speaking or referencing? Who is ye? Does the author really expect the foolish to be reading this psalm or this song in the future? To whom is this written? How is the Lord the refuge of the poor if the poor does not expect to become rich because they presumably know better? They know they will not become rich generally, although a few do. But when it says the Lord is his refuge rather than his riches, what does the poor expect of God? Is it for his life, his daily sustenance, or something else? Verse 7. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion, when the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. Pause. Why does the author make the distinction between Jacob and Israel? Are they not the same person at different times of life? Jacob being before he was complete, Israel being his name once he was complete with his offspring. Where is Zion? What is it? Is it a literal city? Where is it? And does it have any figurative meaning? What or who is the salvation of Israel? When the author says the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, is he speaking of captives? If the author lived before the great captivity of Israel in Babylon, is the author prophesying of the future in Babylon and then a day when they will return from Babylon, as in Ezra's time? What are your good questions? Share your thoughts. Feel free to like and subscribe. Have a great day and Merry Christmas.